Hey everyone, welcome to Columns with Bueller. As always, I am Bueller. Today is another creator interview. I have none other than Sweeney Boo. Sweeney Boo, how are you doing
Hi.
today?
I'm doing great. I'm in the middle of a snow and really cold weather, so I'm happy to be inside.
Well, I'm the opposite, like I was just saying. How much snow is out there on the ground? You're up there in Canada, correct?
Yeah, I'm in Montreal. It melted a little bit, so right now it's just like a thick layer of ice, which is like
Ugh,
extremely dangerous, so
yeah.
not nice.
Well, I'm originally from the Pacific Northwest, so I know the
Okay.
snow and the ice, so I'm used to that. But like I was saying earlier, I'm in the middle of the desert. Most of you guys who are watching know that I'm in the desert right now. So there's no snow, there's no ice. It's supposed to be like about 65, 70 degrees today, but there is a huge windstorm going on outside and dust and all that stuff. I'm feeling a little run down because yesterday I climbed a mountain just not too far away from my campsite and stuff. But today I'm like, oh, okay, I'm feeling it today. But I'd be feeling it worse if there was a bunch of snow and ice on the ground.
Yeah. It's different, but I'm sure it's like it's exhausting in a similar way.
Awesome. Well, let me ask you this. So you're an artist and a writer, and we're here to talk about your brand new book with Dynamite called Cruella De Vil. And you know what? Let me just say it right out the gate. She's a villain.
Hmm.
She's not an empty hero. She's not like, oh, there's a little bit of good. I mean, her whole introduction into the world was she wanted to have a bunch of dogs take their skin and make outfits out of it. So there's no really redeeming qualities for Cruella De Vil. I mean, her last name is literally Deville, which
Deville.
is awful. So how is that going as far as you writing a pure villain comic book?
It's kind of freeing, because it feels like it's like she's a person with like very little moral.
Yeah,
So, she doesn't really have any like restrictions to go from like 0 to 100 on doing anything. Even though she loves to have like a perfect like image in society. So
yes.
it's very interesting to like play with her. I feel like it offers like a lot of like comedic opportunities, honestly.
And that's kind of the premise of the book. Is she not like trying to revamp her image a little bit, and because her name's been tarnished, I guess the whole dog thing obviously would not go over well. Is this book a prequel, or is it coming after what we all know of Cruella?
It's basically taking place after the very first movie that came out.
Okay,
So it's right after the dogs were kidnapped and retrieved, and like the newspapers, like, just like trying to find what happened. So forget the live actions and everything that came after that. It's
sure.
basically maybe like a month after, something like that, the first
Okay.
movie.
So how did this come to be? Did the team of Dynamite approach you? Was this something you were searching out for, or how did this project all come together?
I feel like we all found each other, but let's say I love Cruella. I've
Mhm.
always loved her for some reason.
But why is that? Like I said, she's not very redeeming there. She doesn't have a lot of great qualities.
No, exactly. But I know it's like a lot of people actually, listening to like true crime and stuff like that. I feel like villains, the reason we love them is that we want to understand them. We want to understand why they do the things that they do. And I have to admit that I really love the Emma Stone movie. It was like it was I love fashion, so it was like a perfect combination of like Vivienne Westwood and all of that. So I did like a bunch of fan arts of that character, and basically I had been in touch with Dynamite before, but had never worked with them. And Nate Crosby, who's like the editor, reached out to me and was like, "Do you want to write Cruella?" Um, which is both a thing that I can't say no to, and also very surprising because like I've written in the past, but mostly for me. I had never been hired to mostly write, so it was like a really interesting opportunity to get to collaborate with all the people that were involved.
So, like you just said, most of your work is artistry, doing the artwork.
Mhm.
Right now, you're doing, I believe, the interior artwork for Harley Quinn,
Yeah.
and then a lot of variant covers as well. The Dark Ride variant cover was one of my favorites. Joshua Williamson is a good friend of mine, and I love that series. So I
The
think I
series
have,
is amazing.
yeah, I have that cover, and he autographed it for me last time I saw him. So thank you, Joshua. But when you're doing this Cruella De Vil, how dark can you go? I mean, she's a dark character. She's got a sinister mind. How dark? What type of liberties do you have in this book? And it is a Disney property, and I know they're very attached, and they're very like, you can't do this, you can't do this, and there's a lot of barriers you run into. But how far can you take it?
I feel like we could have taken it a bit far if we wanted to, but I have a feeling that like Cruella in and itself, like the thing that she has done and she's known for is already pretty dark, and I feel like people have a tough time like seeing her beyond that. So we kind of wanted to explore her character um, without making her do like truly evil things. We didn't want her to harm any animals again.
Yeah.
But she's still who she is. She's still quite evil. She's still quite selfish. And so it's more like what's her day-to-day kind of life as a person who's like that, really? Where does she come from? Where does she live? What does she do? Um so like this is what we try to work on because we want like adults and people who grew up with 101 Dalmatians to like want to read the story, but we also want kids to like be able to like pick it up and read it, even though it's about a villain. So we try to keep it kind of tame.
Yeah, because there's all sorts of comic books out there where people are violent against other people, and people are totally okay with that. It's like, okay,
Oh yeah.
that is what it is. Punisher does his thing, no worries. But if you harm an animal, that's a whole nother ballgame. People will lose their mind.
Yes. It's innocent creatures. It's no, cannot imagine it. No way.
So this book came out this week, came out just
Mhm.
yesterday. We're filming this on a Thursday. Just came out, and I believe you did the cover. You did the A cover, correct, as well?
I did, yeah.
Nice. So the cover that you see on the shelf, because you'll see everyone who's going to their comic shop this week and see that on the shelf, they'll probably going to see the A cover. That's her cover. That's the Sweeney Boo cover, the A cover. And like we said earlier, she's writing the story as well. Is this a limited series? I think the Villains series run about 5 or 6 issues. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a full story of just 5 issues for now.
Have you been in talks to do more stuff?
There hasn't been. I would love to, honestly, but I feel like the way it's a really nice self-contained story, but it could definitely be explored a little bit further if we wanted to. So it's kind of open in terms of
And
writing.
the best way to kind of continue the story for anyone who's watching is to go and purchase the book,
Yes.
because the book helps make volume 2 happen, or volume 3, or so on and so on. So if you guys are watching this right now, please do me a favor, go check out this book. It's on the shelves right now. We're going to come back to Cruella De Vil, the title, here in a minute, but we're going to kind of segue to some other stuff and learn a little bit about you, because as familiar as I am with some of the work that you've done, I did some research, and man, I gotta tell you, I read like I read your bio, and it was so interesting. Let me just read it, word for word. Um, let's see. You grew up in Southwest France, correct?
Yes.
You studied graphic design. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And the third and most intriguing thing is I really listen to loud rock music. That is the third thing to describe you. It's like where you grew up, what you studied, and you listen to extremely loud rock music. So, what was the rock music of choice that you were listening to?
So, imagine just the fact that I grew up in a small French village of about 2 to 3,000 people.
Mhm.
Um, I basically lived like my house. You would open the windows of the living room, and there were cows. That was it. And it was like in the early 2000s, and I was quite emo, I guess, at the time. is what you call it. So every famous like rock band that was popular then. So you had Paramore, you had Panic at the Disco, and all that kind of stuff, which is what I was just like filling my ears with.
Yeah. So did the small town, did they know that's that girl over there who's playing the loud rock music all the time?
Yeah, I mean, like the way I dress kind of like went along with it. So yeah.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I do the same thing when I'm traveling myself, and because I turn it way up because I drive a diesel bus and it's very loud, so I just crank that thing all the way up there. And I think lately I've been listening to a lot of Alice in Chains, which is
Oh
my
yeah.
alternative rock that I grew up with in the '90s. Probably my favorite band and stuff. Um, but let's also talk about. So you started off as an artist, like I said. You studied graphic design. When your career started, you were doing this part time, and you had a full time job as well to pay the bills.
Mhm.
Now you are a full time artist. I mean, this artist and creator. This is what your job is. This is what you get paid for. What was it like that day? Where, man, you know what? My dream came true. Now I get to do what I want to do full time. This is pays my bills. This is it. I don't have to do the regular 9 to 5 or whatever the other job was you did before. Now I am a full time creator. What was that like when that happened?
It's it's kind of weird because you never know like this is it. When I did quit my job, it was mostly like, well, I'm gonna try. We'll see what happens. I had a contract to finish my graphic novel at the time with Boom Studios, so I was like, I'm good for the next 6 months, but it's kind of up in the air. You never know. Um, but it was probably a month and a half after I quit my job that I got an email from IDW to do a test for Captain Marvel, which was already pretty mind blowing to just even get
Yeah.
to like try. My parents were visiting me, and we were in New York. First time that my parents from small French village like went to New York, so it was already a whole experience. And I got an email that I got the gig, and that was the moment where I was like, whatever happens, like it's kind of like a like once in a lifetime opportunity, and this is what I've always wanted, and it was kind of like it's I definitely like will always remember it in my mind.
That's awesome. Because what that is you bet on yourself and you go for it.
Mhm.
And that's basically what you did. You said, okay, here's an opportunity. I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to go for it. The safety and comfort what I had before, you know what? I believe I can find this new path and make it work. And that's what you did. So my hats off to you and congratulations for following your dream. And now you get to do this full time. And hopefully this lasts forever because for the work that you're doing now, you're establishing quite a large portfolio of great work that will keep you doing this type of work for quite some time. So congratulations.
Well, that's very kind. Thank you. I feel like, you know, um, when I have people stopping on my table and ask me what does it take to like make it. Not that I've been doing it for a while, but I tried to do it for a while before I really like had the chance to. And I feel like talent is definitely a thing, but also like having the drive to this is what I want and I'm going for it, and it's gonna take however long it takes. It's like it's what's the most important. So, I'm touching wood. It will last as long as it will last. I'm taking it one day at a time, but I feel extremely lucky.
So far, so good. You mentioned this title just a second ago, the Captain Marvel by IDW. The IDW brands for Marvel are kids-oriented titles.
Mhm.
Uh, a lot of these Disney titles that are coming out from Dynamite are kind of the same thing. That's one area in the comic world I think that's lacking, getting kids involved in comics. And I like the fact that you've been doing titles for a younger audience. You do ones for older. Harley Quinn is not a kid's title.
No.
Uh, but although every girl cosplay is Harley Quinn all the time. So, but what's it? Is it important to you to be able to put that out there to get kids involved in the comic books?
I've never really made like a conscious choice of like, oh, I need to do something for kids and I need to do something for older, like teens or like young adults or whatnot. I kind of like follow the flow of where my career is going, but I do love getting to play a little bit in a younger audience type of pool because it's like, um, this is the stuff like we were all kids at some point, and like I remember going on road trips and vacation and just like reading comic books like bande dessinée in France, like in the back of my parents' car until like I got car sick. But basically, like I wouldn't stop. So I feel like also like superheroes and just like Disney villains and all that stuff is like there's so much opportunities to like make some like fun stories that can speak both to kids and like older audience that it's definitely very important.
We mentioned that you were the artist for Harley Quinn right now. Harley Quinn's like a, one of the staples for DC Comics. I mean, that's not a small title for you. I mean, that's a huge title. It's like
Mhm.
you got Batman, then pretty much you got Harley Quinn is the next one as far as popularity, and that character has grown and grown and grown and keeps on growing. It has a cult following. Any pressure on doing the Harley Quinn?
Yeah, a lot. 'Cause, when you get the first email, it's like, first, you can't say no to that, but also, like, why, I have to, like, do her justice,
Yeah,
because she's such an important character, and there are so many, many artists out there who, got to, like, contribute and did, like, such an incredible version, so it's like how do I do that? And at some point, you just kind of stop thinking about it, I guess, because it's too much otherwise. So I try to like we like let's say build like a nice relationship between all of us with the editor and Teeny Howard, and I mostly focus on like getting the script,
yeah.
understanding Teeny's vision, and having fun. This is something that is very important in my job. It's like I want to have fun, and so when people read, like you can see it, like if the team is having a good time working on the title. So I think we're doing pretty okay on that part.
I think so too. Harley Quinn. I'm I've always been a Marvel guy,
Hmm.
and when Harley Quinn came around, and kind of when I rediscovered comics, she immediately jumped off the page, and I was like, "Wow, this is a really neat character." When did this character come to be? Because I really didn't know that it was started
Hmm.
off and did, the book. It was the Batman Adventures or something like that. I can't remember the title. I think it was number 18, but it was in the animated series and
Yeah.
everything. See this character and how it's grown, and you see the iterations of it on the big screen. It's just awesome. So I mean, another hats off to you for working on such a main title. I mean, you have these smaller titles that are great that I really enjoy, but then you're also right there. You're right in the thick of it. In the top few books in the industry, you're like one of the you're the artist for it. So that's just amazing. So congratulations to that, and also to the new book from Dynamite. Let's go ahead and jump back to the Cruella De Vil
Hmm.
book itself. And you're going to have to help me out here because I'm horrible with the names, but the artist, Miranda, is that right?
I think it's Mariana Puglia. I'm
Yeah,
not sure, but
I was never going to get that right. Just so everyone knows, I was never going to get that right. But the artist, that's the main artist for the book. And is this the first time you're working with them?
Yes, yes, it's the first time that I'm working with anyone in this book. So you have Mariana on the art, you have Ellie Wright on the colors, and they did just an incredible job, honestly.
Nice, nice. And I'm assuming they're on board for the whole 5 or 6 issues, correct?
Yeah, and it's been really a learning curve to like get to write for someone else, but also so gratifying to get to see how someone else's brain works when you get the page. I've gotten to do a few cons since I started working on the title and like getting to talk with writers, and I was just like, this is what you get all the time. This is so exciting. It's just like getting an email, and it's kind of Christmas. It's just like it's pretty cool.
So now that you're writing this book, I mean, was that like a goal of yours? To obviously you started as an artist, and you're still an artist, like we said.
Mhm.
Was your eventual goal? Hey, I want to write. I want to write my story, and eventually, I don't know if this is planned, but write and do the artwork for my own book or something like that. I mean, do you see the differences between the two? I mean, is this writing come as natural as the artistry does?
So I got to write and draw and do my own books, but getting to write for someone else is definitely something that I had never done before. I'm always very inspired and I'm very creative, and um, I always get ideas. The problem is that art is, as much as I love it, it's, at least for interiors, it takes a long time.
Yeah,
So when I work on my own books, it's gonna take me a couple years because it's usually graphic novels.
sure.
And so it's great, but this is why I also like to dabble in mainstream comics, because it's like smaller project that takes are just a bit faster. But getting to write for a mini series and for other people, it's honestly a really fun way for me to kind of like step out of something and just get to like play in a little like storyline in here and there. It doesn't take as long, and it's like kind of fun, and it's definitely something that I wanna keep doing in the future. And also, you know, I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to draw my entire life. It takes a lot out of me.
Yeah,
So it's fun to just like try some other stuff here and there.
I'm sure you can do anything you put your mind to. You're that type of person. That's how I see you. So I know you can do it for as long as you want. We are gonna kind of wrap things up here real quick, but I do want to throw a couple things out there. I think I heard you mention before in another interview that you do a podcast or did a podcast.
Oh yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah. So Sue Lee, who actually worked on Maleficent for Dynamite,
Nice.
she's one of my best friend, and we have a podcast called Spill Your Guts. It's bi-weekly
Okay.
usually, but sometimes we don't update in a little bit because it takes a while. But we talk about mental health and working in comics, I guess.
Nice. And is that still going on right now? I heard you mention that you took a hiatus for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, but we're gonna be back on the 22nd, actually.
Very
Yeah.
cool. And also, you have a website as well. You want to talk about your website?
Yeah, well, I have a SweeneyBoo.com, but I'm also like everywhere on social media. I'm usually Sweeney Boo or Sweeney_Boo on like Instagram, Twitter, and all of that. I post work in progress, or usually like covers, or when I have like titles like Cruella coming out with like some snippets of um work.
And also, I just want to show you this picture really quick. So if people want to check out that website, there's this really great picture. And
It's my Halloween costume.
this is pretty low tech. We'll put a better picture on the screen of whoever's watching. But that is Sweeney Boo on, on her day off right there. That's
You know what? I got to just like stay home for Halloween, so I did this like whole Grinch costume, and I was just like, this is gonna be my new like author photo. So there we go. This is if I can like put it in a book as my author photo, I'm probably gonna
yeah.
do it.
Well, did you do the makeup yourself?
Yeah, I did.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's part three of the career right there. Doing your own all that.
I'm trying stuff all the time. Currently, I'm customizing dolls on my free time for some reason. So there you go.
There you go. Well, Sweeney Boo, I want to say thank you very much. I want to let everyone know to go check out Cruella De Vil. It's in stores now. It's by Dynamite. I want to thank Dynamite for putting this together. Sweeney, is there anything you want to say before we go?
Thank you for your great questions, and it was great to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Well, speaking of meeting you, I think I saw that you're going to be at MegaCon,
Yes.
and I will be at MegaCon too. I'm flying out of Phoenix, and I'll be doing some panels at MegaCon, doing some hosting duties for them and I will try to come by and say hello and see how you're doing.
Yeah, that'd be great to meet you in person for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to live your best life. You know what to do. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.